it's good just to see other women doing things that you're interested in doing, especially in an industry where there aren't many women doing it, like in sound tech, where it's like 5% women. So please carry on with what you were saying.
Yeah, on my college course, because I did music technology at college and then music technology with management at university for Bachelor of Science. And there was, in my college course, out of the whole, I think there was like about 70 pupils. There was me and 2 other girls. There was 4 of us to start with, and then, or 5 of us to start with, and then 2 dropped out. And then at university, there was, again, a handful of us. I've never been taught by a woman. I did have a look at a university in Amsterdam, and a big part of the reason why I wanted to go there was because it was a woman teaching the course, and I was like, oh my god, she's such a badass, she's in this industry. And she was, wherever I've gone where I've wanted to, you know, seek out a new avenue, I've always been told you're going to have to work harder because you're a woman, and the man is always going to get the promotion, and you're going to have to do 10 times more. Just for the sake of the video, my mum is in the music industry as well, and I remember when I was about 13, 14 years old, she was recording in Park Street Studios, and she was recording with a producer there, and I went in, and oh no, I would have been a bit older because I was about 15, going into college age, and I said, oh, I was going to college to study music technology, and he said to me, this producer that's worked in the industry for years, oh, that's amazing that you're a woman getting into this, but I can tell you now that a lot of men aren't going to take you seriously, especially on the tech side. They will always presume that you're the talent coming in, or that you're getting them coffee, you're a secretary. They're never going to assume that you're there to do the tech side.
Yeah,
which made me be like, oh, well, okay, well, I'm going to do it even more then.
Yes.
I mean, now you've said, like, you've never been taught by a woman. I was just thinking then, I was like, no, neither have I. Like, all the tutors, all the, you know, even the people that they have, like, oh, guest speaker on today, it's always a bloke. There was something else I was going to say that was related to, but it's gone. It'll come back to me.
I mean, there's only one female tutor on mine as well. I'm only taught by 3 people, but the whole like music department, I don't know how many male tutors there are because I'm quite new to the uni, but you know, I know at least 6 or 7 overall, and there's probably definitely more. And there's only one woman on staff there for the music department, and she teaches the theory side as well. I don't know if that's like a woman's role or what.
I am very used to being, I have been the only girl once in college, but I'm so used to there being like 2, 3 girls in the class, and one inevitably drops out during the second year. Don't know why that is. Could be pressure, could be they don't realise how techie it is, could be they don't like the fact that there are more blokes than them in there, because it can get quite intimidating if you're not used to being in a room
we went
where you're the only girl.
We went from an all-girls school straight into like, you're surrounded by men. And I think me and Emily have got very, very thick skin, and I think that's one thing that I always tell anyone who asks me who's younger and they're thinking about going into the music industry or hospitality. It's the same thing, is you have to have thick skin. It's a male-dominated industry, and if you're seen to take offense to anything that they're saying, if you're not seen as one of the lads or whatever, you're just seen as sensitive, and again, you're just not taken seriously. Like, you have to be one of the lads, and you have to be able to take jokes, whether it's just, you know, banter, or whether it's a sexual joke or anything. If you take any sort of offense, then that's going to ruin your reputation and not his.
I feel like you have to choose between standing up for it and actually being able to do your job.
You have to pick your battles 100%. Like, there's been times where I've definitely turned around to people and been like, don't talk to me like that. We're in a professional environment. You wouldn't talk to me like that if I wasn't a woman. But then 99.9% of the time, you've got to let it go over your head, because you won't be able to work in the industry if you don't.
Well, you've reminded me of there's a book I've got on my bookshelf, let me just look, Gender in the Music Industry by Leonard. I can't see the first name, but
Marion.
Have you got it? Oh, brilliant! Yes. And she makes a point that, you know, female performers aren't just performers. They aren't just there to perform. They have to prove themselves on top of everything else. So like as soon as they walk in the door, you've said it, they'll think you're part of the crew. Like my mum said, she's been asked like, oh, where are your husbands? Like, are you holding the instruments for them? And it's like, as soon as you walk in the door, you're not, oh, there's a band. It's, oh, look at them girls. And then you've got to prove, no, we're a band. And then as soon as you get on stage, they're watching you, and you can feel the judgment. And it's that pressure where any little slip up, and you know that they're going to pick you out for it. Like, I've been playing stuff, and like you both know, my stuff's all depressing. It's not something you want at an open mic when everybody's drunk and wanting to dance. But I was up there, did a couple of songs, went to the bar, and some fella was like, you know, that stuff's really good, but it's not good for round here. You know, it's not something you can dance to, is it? And I went, well, no, that's the point. And it's that point again. Would you say this if I was a bloke? No.
Yeah, I mean, we've both had situations as well where, like, if we've been setting up, I'm pretty sure there was one situation when we were both together, Emily, where we were setting up like a sound desk maybe for your mum or something, and we're just plugging everything in. We're not having any issues, we're just doing sound check or something, and you get some random bloke who probably has never even looked at a sound desk in their life, probably only touched the microphone on karaoke, and they go up and go, do you want a hand with that, love? And it's like, so, like, they would never do that if it was a man on a sound desk. They would never ever dream to go over. And it's like, I mean, it's a systematic thing, I guess. You know, it's like, oh, a damsel in distress. But it's like, if I'm there to do a job, I'm not in distress. I know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
You don't know how qualified I am. And
somebody decided you were worth hiring. Like,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And like, I used to run karaoke every week at the Flying Pig and the hotel I worked at. And without fail, every single week, I would get someone coming up asking me if I want help. And it's like, I appreciate the fact that you're trying to help me, and I know that you're, most of the time they're not doing it in a demeaning way, but it's like that kind of like microaggressions, you know, when someone calls you sweetheart, or like they put the hand on the bottom
tell you to smile.
Yes.
You wouldn't tell us to smile.
This is a whole nother tangent, working in bars, girl. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, working at a supermarket as well.
Yeah. Really?
Like, I mean,
oh my
I can believe
goodness.
it. Like, I think it's just one of those things that no matter where you go as a woman, you always have to work harder, and you have to have that balance of not standing up for yourself, really, because then you're seen as a bitch. And like, if a man stands up for himself, he's seen as assertive, and you know, he's big ahead. But if we do it, we're seen as shrill, we're seen as like we're moaning, and we always have something to say, and we're opinionated.
Hysterical, love.
Oh, female hysteria. Keep it under control, ladies.
You can't control your emotions.
Yeah.
No.
Like I've had people in professional environments or like at university being like, are you on the rag? And it's like, who raised you?
Literally. See, now, sorry, go on.
Go on.
Because mine was like a tangent off.
Same.
I'm very okay with tangents, don't worry.
That's okay. I found, like, because it's weird, because obviously working with Sam, and we're obviously both female, but on a purely aesthetic level, we're treated differently, because I'm more, let's say, what's the word, like perceived as being more masculine.
Yeah, more tomboy.
Yeah.
I've spoken about this with someone else. Carry on.
Yes. So because I'm perceived that way, rather than being like, oh, sweetheart, are you okay? Like I've heard Sam get, I get, oh, you're all right for a girl, aren't you? Oh, you're doing all right for a girl, aren't you? And I'm like, oh,
you're quite good, actually.
Goodness. Yeah, well, I remember vividly. Oh, no, I remember vividly in college. Like, I was just in one day during break, decided to play on the drums because it was free, and I was just bashing away, having a happy old time. And then some fella just opened the door, poked his head round, looked at me, and I just went, "You're all right?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, you're all right at drums for a girl, aren't you?" Shut the door and left. Like, that's all he said. And I was like, you know, you're just in such a state of disbelief. You're like, A, who the frig are you? B, the audacity, like,
right.
just say, oh, you're decent at drums. Don't look at me dead shocked and then say you're all right for a girl. Just say, oh, that was nice. And then I'll be like, cheers.